Hello, my name is Alexi. Would like to make a video on a long video ago, which I just kind of found it, but you know, decided like kind of uh, decided to respond to a video called McDojo Breakdown Karate is the Devil. My martial arts background is I did freestyle wrestling and judo back in Russia. Then I moved to United States. I did folk style wrestling, um, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, boxing, Shotokan karate, and Muay Thai. And and I did this kind of like in and out. So that's like my martial arts background. Um, Also, I have been a Christian since 2006, which is 15 years. Um, so first, I want to say that before we start, kind of like listening to the audio of the video, is that I would say that unbelievers, like if you're not a Christian, if you're not a true Christian, unbelievers can only sin since all humans after Adam's fall are born as sinners and children of wrath and under God's wrath and under control of Satan or the devil. Um, like Hebrews 11:6 says, and without faith it is impossible to please him, for the one who comes to God must believe that he exists and that he proves to be one who rewards those who seek him. In Romans 14:23, it says this, but the one who doubts is condemned if he eats, because he eats his eating is not from faith, and whatever is not from faith is sin. So um, so let's listen to some of the gentleman who is kind of like a claims that he had done karate or karate, American pronunciation. But let's listen.
Just had about 3 months ago, I decided to step out of the martial arts. I've been training in karate for 34 years.
So he'd been training karate for 34 years.
34 years ago, I received my black belt in this.
34 years ago, he received the black belt. So this gentleman who made this video on McDojo Live rightly points out that he received the black belt the same year as he started karate, which is awkward thing to do.
Very room. When I got my black belt, my sensei had cut me with his family sword, which was an 800-year-old.
800-year-old katana. Think about it. You know, the interesting things that I'll start looking at, like first samurais, right? Samurais. You can date it up to late 12th century. So it's like, is this guy, like his family was like one of the first samurais? Because honestly, like there was so many pretty much warlords time eras where warlords would kill each other, and samurais is more of like the one who's serving the lord, what's some well, not a shogun, but like a smaller version of shogun, like small clan, since Japan was not yet united as a whole yet. So to me, it's already like when I hear this, I just either this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, or just plainly lying to me. Like what I like listen to it is like the same year he got a black belt, seems like it, and then like katana, 800 years old, like. But continue on.
Samurai sword. He had cut me from my neck to my belly button. He was extending the right hand of righteousness in the blood of Jesus to his son. What advice would...
This is so confusing to me. Like, I guess they skipped it too much, but I never heard of somebody would cut with a katana all the way up to the belly button. I'm just like, what is he talking about? Um, it's just, in my personal opinion, just like even that, um, seems like either he's lying or just making up a stories. Maybe watched too much karate movies and stuff. This guy makes no sense. Or another opinion is that maybe there's some teenager, some kid wanted to start doing a karate, and he kind of like trying to become a deterrent from learning the karate. But continue on.
Do you give someone out there who's trapped in spirits of martial arts? There's no such thing as Christian MMA, karate, anything else. You are, by your very moves, demonstrating in the spirit realm that you are worshiping the devil.
So, like, well, I mean, first, like, there's no, like, I agree with Mr. McDojo Life. I don't know his name. Let's see what his name actually. Killcliff. I don't know. Yeah, I guess this gentleman right there did not put his name, but Mr. McDojo Life. I agree. It's just like this guy makes no sense in my opinion. Just this guy trying to deter teenagers or whoever from doing mixed martial arts or karate. And but continue. Let's finish this.
And you may not think you are, but the devil knows what you're doing.
So it's just once again like in like video before, like before his speech in the video, this guy seems to be a Pentecostal, and to me, in my understanding, it's this whole sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. This is whole nonsense. It's total nonsense. Like if you're doing this and you're calling it a tongue, like sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la, this childish. Stop doing it in Jesus' name. This is so ridiculous. Speaking in tongues is speaking another language. Like for example, I know Russian language and English language, and I'm learning Greek language. So like this, and some of the translators, even modern translators, still translate as it's called a tongues instead of languages or language. Like Acts chapter 1, it's kind of clear that they spoke different languages in the day of Pentecost. But as a Christian, my take on the martial arts is this. And as I said, if you're an unbeliever, I could care less if you do martial arts or if you don't do martial arts. You are under the power of sin and Satan, and it doesn't matter. Pharisees who crucified Christ were outside. They looked like nice people, but they hated Christ because Christ testifies that the works of this world are evil. But if you're a true Christian, this is what I think about it. this this message specifically talks to the Christians. In my opinion, martial arts can be used for good, like self-defense, or for evil, like criminals. I mean, like in Russia, um, lots of criminals know any or just multiple martial arts like karate, sambo, judo, wrestling, tons of them. Um, and then another one is in Ezekiel 22, verse 26. It says this: "Her priests," referring to Jerusalem, "have done violence to my law and have profaned my holy things. They have made no distinction between the holy and the common, and they have not taught the difference between the unclean and the clean, and they have closed their eyes from my Sabbaths, and I am defiled among them." Once again, holy things and the common things. I would say martial arts is a common thing. It can be, like I said, used for good or for evil. However, However, some things in martial arts I would not do as a Christian. Let me read first Acts chapter 15, verse 28 and 29. And once again, this is specifically for Christians. It's for it seems good to the Holy Spirit and to us to lay upon no greater burden than those essentially that you abstain from things sacrificed to idols, from blood, from things strangled, and from acts of sexual immorality. If you keep yourself free from those things, you will do well. Farewell. But I want to talk about uh, you abstaining from things sacrificed to idols or false gods. For example, my biggest one, what I see at least, and what I learned, is a dance in Muay Thai, Wai Kru. Um, I talked to a couple of Muay Thai trainers, and some it's just a dance, it's just a warm up. But actually, once again, if you meet somebody who's honest, he will tell you that. So upon entering the ring, fighters circle the ring in counterclockwise direction and pray to each corner. They bow their heads at every corner 3 times in salutation to Buddha, Drachma, and the signa of monks. And once again, you cannot salute Buddha. He was a false teacher. He's in hell right now. So sorry, like to me, like this dance in Muay Thai. I mean, you can beat each other up, show masculinity, elbow each other in the face, knee each other in the body. No problem. I have no problem with that. But to some degree, in hilarious part, but dance this. Can you pronounce this? Wai Kru dance in Muay Thai, where you salute Buddha and Drachma. That's a no go. As a practice, and once again, some black belts in judo would say this. This is very common question about judoka. The bow has no religious meaning. It is simply a meaning of demonstration of respect and humility. I have no problem with that. Yeah, we can respect each other. Bow before throw each other on tatame. No problem. But also, like in some dojos, I haven't seen it in United States. I did judo in Russia, but they also have a picture of Kano, the invader, the person who invented judo, and with some as a sign of respect, you would have to bow to this Kano guy, towards his picture, who already died. To me, it's kind of, I would not totally condemn it, um, or I would, nor would I approve it. To me, it's kind of like bow down towards the picture of a dead guy. Mm, so at least like what I see in like what some, like I said, one thing specifically, dancing Muay Thai, I would, if I would do like Muay Thai and compete, I would not do the dance. Someone might, it's the same thing like this, like when you have, for example, stretching. I stretch, everybody stretch, right, after or before working out. But when you add spiritual aspect of it, like in yoga, for example, I know some does like people do Pilates, but in some cases like yoga, where you like open up your chakras so you could become part of the universe, open your mind to like whatever, being enlightened, maybe by Buddha. That's definitely satanic, and I would not do it. And if you're a Christian, I would say abstain from this. Um, and what's some in regards to like what's called martial arts, there's some verses to consider. Like I give you example, like in First Corinthians chapter 9, Apostle Paul gives an example, like running a Christian race, and he gets the example out of Greek competition, like boxing and running. Let me read this to you. First Corinthians chapter 9, verse 25 to 27. Everyone who competes in the games exercises self-control in all things, so they do it to obtain a perishable wrath, but we an imperishable. Therefore, I run in such a way as not to run aimlessly. I box in such a way as to avoid hitting air, but I strictly discipline my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified. And I agree that's a weak argument, because Paul also uses this like in a description of the second coming of Christ, that Christ will come like a thief in the night. I understand that's a simile. Um, um, to me, it's like the biggest one is this separating holy from the common things. Some people I know that they quote like Matthew 5, like if somebody strike you on one cheek, turn another to him as well. Um, Once again, Matthew 5 has to do with offenses for Christ's sake, or some offenses just minor offenses. Um, I think honestly, like the whole masculinity, especially within a church, is being destroyed. Um, you ask, man, describe me Jesus Christ whom you worship. There's no way they will talk about the justice of God, the wrath of God, eternal torture of God in hell to all the unbelievers and all the sinners. Why? Because to some degree, preachers been preaching a false image of Christ, who is more feminine, like, um, girly, like, they would magnify the love of God to such a degree that there's no wrath remains. Well, in reality, that there's lots of wrath. I would say it's infinite wrath of God is in hell. And once again, I would say it's just in many churches, real man, masculine man, I hate it by many pastors. Why? Because what, like 60 or 70 or 80% in some cases, that's women goes to church, and you know, man is like they discouraged to do lots of masculine things, especially outside of church. But yeah, in regards to like turning another cheek, yeah, sure, for Christ's sake, um, sure, even in a daily life, if somebody cuts you off, just let it go. The biggest thing is this, that I believe when you compete, you should not do it out of anger for your opponent, especially when your opponent really didn't commit any like crime or sins against you. But even if he did, forgive him. So if you compete, make sure you don't have anger, unnecessary like anger without cause towards your opponent. Just compete, beat him, submit him if you compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. In Muay Thai, punch him, kick him, elbow him, knee him. Um, as long as it's is not you're not trying to like satisfy your anger within you. I mean, um, Paul said in, I think it's First Timothy, barley exercise profits little, a little. It is profitable a little. It does has a little bit profit, but this gentleman right there who is like pretending to be a black belt, honestly, like it's just it's ridiculous in my opinion. Uh, and yeah, that's it pretty much. If you have any questions, just leave a comment. But that's it. Bye bye.